I fear. I fear this TV show is about me. Hi. Do you like my t-shirt? I bought me and a friend matching ones. They get Carlisle, and I get Charlie. Hi. Hi, pals. It's me, Artie, then in pronouns only. Please don't look at my hair. I need a haircut. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. I'm talking about Film Club today. I wanted to talk about this a while ago, but my filming schedule and then mental illness did not allow. So I'm talking about it now because I still think about that show a lot, and I liked it so much that I actually looked into seeing if you can buy it on DVD, and you can. But basically, this TV show was sold to me literally by the actress and writer herself because I just saw a one off quote from an article. Yeah, Film Club is about a girl who's working out she's autistic. And I didn't know that about myself when I was writing it. It was all subconscious. So that I was like, done. I'm sold. No more convincing needed. Perfect. This sounds like the show for me. Although autism is literally never mentioned in the show, I will accept and take it if it's being stated as canonically about autistic people, because I say people. If you have watched this, most of the main cast of characters are definitely not fucking neurotypical. I would absolutely die on this hill. I would fucking fist fight anybody who says otherwise. Sorry, were your eyes closed and ears? Were your eyes and ears closed the entire, like, what, 6 episodes of this show? Yeah, because our, like, sort of main cast is obviously Evie, our main character, Noah, her, like, bestie, her bestie, Izzy, her sister, Suze, her mum, and then Josh, her boyfriend, who, like, kind of lives with them, even though he absolutely was not invited to live with them. And then we also have a few other, like, side characters. Sam, who was one of the uni friends who drinks a lot. That's kind of like her whole character trait. Sounds posh, drinks a lot. Cameron as well, who is gay and not available ever. And then, like, Callum, who is the local little shit on a bike, like a bicycle bike, played by Adolescence's leading boy, who didn't he win an Emmy or something this year? Last year. I'm filming this still in 2025, but this will be released sometime in 2026. And obviously a few other people too, but, like, you know me. And if you don't know me, I don't fucking remember anybody's names in anything I watch. And it's even worse. I've been off meds for ADHD for so fucking long, and it looks like I'm gonna be waiting even fucking longer. So I don't know. I don't know who anyone is. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so this show's about me. Basically, our leading character, Evie, you know, sounds similar, doesn't it? With a little IE at the end as well, like me. Anyway, Evie is agoraphobic in this show, basically. Like that. The main central problem for her is that she has been agoraphobic for the last, like, 6 months after a breakdown, and she can't leave the house. She can sometimes get to the end of the garden, sometimes start walking down the street, but then she starts losing her fucking mind. So, like, that is a huge theme for me in my life because, I mean, I'm also agoraphobic slash I go in and out of worse and less worse experiences and stages of agoraphobia. Yeah, so, like, I just felt there was a lot of themes of isolation, barriers that no one can see for her, not being able to leave, but also not being able to get many people to come to you, so like also that kind of social isolation, because as well, like specifically they live in the outskirts of Manchester, so like in the suburbs. They don't live in the city like all of her uni friends still do, so nobody can be bothered to travel to come see her anymore. The only person who makes the effort is Noah. So yeah, also a big mood for me. Nobody can be bothered to come hang out with me, whether it's at my house in the middle of fucking nowhere or in the little towns nearer me. People just can't be asked. So I felt that. I felt that deep in my soul. And also, yeah, like there's a reference as well that her friend Sam makes, that she can't believe that Noah makes this trip every week for film club from central Manchester to the outskirts, that he has to take a train, a tram, and a bus. And I think he also says this at some other point, because he does all that whilst usually in full fucking costume as well. Generally just a lot of odd little remarks really among everybody, but particularly from Evie, that start unveiling some of these struggles and pressures she's felt that led to that breakdown. Her sister, Izzy, works on weekends. I don't know how old Izzy is. I'm assuming like maybe uni age or like just after uni age, but I have no idea. We know Evie is about, I think it was like 28, 29, something like that. I don't know how old anyone else is who wasn't just like Evie's friends from uni, but she has like, I don't know if it's just a weekend job. I assume not, but she does work a lot on weekends. She kind of works at like a furniture shop of some kind. It's like smaller than an IKEA, but more than just a mattress shop. And yeah, Evie says to her at one point that she thinks it must be nice to work on weekends and birthdays and Christmas, etc., etc., which Izzy does not understand at all. But her reason is that there's no pressure to be happy. There's no pressure to be happy when you're like working on a holiday. I fear she may have incorrectly understood what is expected of a customer service job for a start, but I did feel that vibe, the pressure to be happy, grateful, and thankful on like birthdays, Christmas, and other kinds of holidays. My family don't really celebrate many things anymore, and I think that's mostly because I'm miserable. I'm a miserable autistic person. Don't surprise me. Don't buy me anything I didn't ask for / say I wanted something of. Just fucking don't. Don't try to feed me. Don't try to buy me food. You've probably bought something I can't fucking eat, whether it's because of my Crohn's or because of a sensory related thing. So, you know, yeah. I felt the vibe, except I wouldn't want to fucking work on a leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Leave me alone to read or watch TV. Fantastic. Also, yeah, I mean, obviously the fact that Evie is a massive like media film nerd and has been since before even meeting her uni friends and starting the film club. This is kind of skipping ahead quite a bit, but it's skipping ahead in the show but backwards in like chronological order. When she meets Noah at like some kind of icebreaker mixer at uni at a pub. Whose university did that? Because mine didn't. We did do like a little weekender thing for people who were the first to go to university. I recently re-remembered that because I don't know how it came up, but like it came up with somebody. I don't remember who was I talking to about that. I don't know. See, I'm just like existing. I don't have no idea what's happening to me most of the time. And like, yeah, there was obviously the SU bar that we could go get drunk at, or like the corner shops we could go pick up alcohol at, but like, we didn't go to a pub as an icebreaker. Anyway, the point was, yeah, like their first interactions were very telling of both of their like key and core characteristics. Like Evie was bored and was like, I'm gonna go see what's on at the cinema, bitch. Hold on, reverse. Noah stops her from leaving because she's had like a brand new clothing tag poking out of her top the whole time. So he takes it off, and she's like devo embarrassed about it. And that's kind of how they get started talking. He's then asking, how does my eye look? Because I managed to squirt, I think he said lime juice or lemon. Lime or lemon, either way, acidic fruit juice into his eye somehow. Is it okay? Will he live? And like, Evie thinks he's joking, me, and kind of starts joking back and leaning into it. And he's like, am I going to die? And she's like, so for the rest of the time of the show, this comes up a lot for Noah, that he clearly health anxiety, hypochondria, that's the word. The kind of term I feel like is health anxiety. But yeah, he's a hypochondriac. That and his general quietness and anxiousness, and the his awkwardness when speaking to people who aren't Evie. Autism. You've just been diagnosed, Noah. Autism. And I feel like this is why our two sort of like central main characters are so close and do understand each other so well. And it's almost like a great little show depicting what autism can look like in a bunch of different people, even within the same family. Because honestly, that fucking family, Evie's whole family, autism. Autism. So yeah, this fun little scene where they first meet each other discloses, how weirdly well they got on right away. How weirdly they like really understood each other as well without knowing shit about each other. She was very understanding of his hypochondria and what actually he needed to hear rather than just joking about it. And then he was like, where are you going? She's like, I'm out of here. Bye. I'm bored. Had enough socialization, disgusting. And then she's like, I'm going to the fucking cinema, bitch. I'm going to go see what's on. And he was like, can I come with you? Because I also don't want to be here. So yeah, we get his hypochondria, her like film media obsession, and then how both of them are like just super awkward and just don't really like people that much. Big mood, bitch. We find out that basically Evie is obviously kind of a stickler for routine, but so is her mum. And I think her mum also tries to use that as a way of therapizing Evie post breakdown, which is what everyone's kind of referring it to. But obviously, it's a mixture of like a breakdown and a meltdown, because I feel like before that she was kind of more functional in a neurotypical world, and something happened where she just couldn't fucking take it anymore. So I don't think it's purely a mental health breakdown or purely an autistic meltdown. I think it's kind of a combo of the two. We see repeatedly in different scenarios, Evie is like a real stickler for rules. We see it all as well in her mum as well. Her mum doesn't let anybody in the fucking kitchen. Don't understand why. I don't understand why. I feel like that's the opposite of what most parents want from their children. Is like, no, I don't want to fucking cook for you. You're 28 years old. I know my mum doesn't want to cook for me, but it's the autism. I'm not very good at preparing food without hurting myself. Basically, last time I tried, I poured boiling hot pasta water over my hand. Again. Again, this is not the first time. So like that's an autism flag for me, because it's like the opposite of what most parents would want from their adult children living with them. Like, why would you want to be the only person preparing food? It is unclear whether this is all the time or just because /around/for the film club nights. But also there's a lot of times we see it from Evie as well, like especially in the film nights. There's loads of rules. No phones, No talking through the film, no toilet breaks in the film. You stay for the whole thing. You also do trivia and you don't take the piss, blah, blah, blah. She has rules, okay? And yeah, her meltdown slash breakdown slash both led to her becoming agoraphobic and living back with her mum and sister, as well as losing her job. Big slay bitch, I have not kept a permanent job role longer than 3 months. Like, actually, literally ever. Her breakdown looked like this. She was too exhausted to get up in the morning, so a lot of depression. I would also say burnout, autistic burnout. We see her looking at this year 6 imagination award, and I was like, no, me. So yeah, I love that autistic girl daydreamer head nod that also links in really well, obviously, with her fascination with media and films. She also makes props and costumes and stuff for her film nights. Sometimes she really goes all out, sometimes less so. She leaves the flat to go to work, and like just everything is loud. Everything's just loud, really loud, really loud. Outside, in work, it's just all loud, 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 so loud. I think it was her birthday as well because everyone's like, happy birthday, I think. Like, they brought a cake over to her and she just sort of like face planted her desk so hard she lifted her head up and she's got fucking bleeding teeth. I was a little bit confused and concerned by that. I won't lie. What was that? What was that supposed to be? I don't really know. Because like it wasn't even coming out of her nose. But also like 95% of like nose breaks don't even make your nose bleed. That's just like a media thing. Hello. This TV show's about me. So yeah, that was my main thing where I was like, I don't get that. Don't understand what that was. But okay. Everyone's concerned and confused. Like, you okay? She's like, I'm fine. I'm fine. And she just keeps saying that until she like explodes and runs out. So yeah, she runs out of work, can't remember how to get home or to her mum's house rather, because she was living in a flat, but she was trying to get to her mum's house. Again, slightly unclear, but I don't know how you would have made it clearer in this show's format, whether it was just fully straight up autism and meltdown making your brain not go, because me too. I'm like, oh yeah. Basically, this next bit as well really hit me in the feels because I relate to this a lot. Like, you just kind of look ridiculous and crazy to everybody else outside of yourself. And I mean, you feel crazy when you're doing it and it's happening as well. But once you understand it's autism, you're sort of like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And it's less bizarre and concerning, honestly, a little bit concerning. You know, in an ideal world, meltdowns would happen less, I guess, if at all. But like, she just sits in the middle of the fucking road and is rocking and crying. Like, there's a few scenes like this in the show that really hit me. I just feel very, very seen by those scenes because, like, okay, maybe mildly controversial, but like, even the scenes being shown in this show are the more acceptable versions of autistic meltdowns. But even these, we don't see represented in media, like, ever. So having the confirmation from the writer and star that this is about figuring out you're autistic. I know this is like autistic meltdowns and autistic stimming and self-soothing behaviors and stuff like that, but like, you just don't see it, especially in women, especially in people who are like high masking or have been high masking, and it's led to breakdowns and meltdowns that have kind of like burned somebody's whole life down. So yeah, like, this scene is one of those scenes for me that is just like really impactful because I really see myself in them, because I've I have done similar things when I've been like traveling through London. This is one of the reasons why I don't like to travel at all slash alone, especially these days. Like public transport in the UK really sucks. Like it's gotten a lot worse in the last 5 years. And I was having these meltdowns like 10, 15 years ago, and it's only worse now. I would be sobbing, screaming down the phone to my mum because my mum would be literally the only person who would be able to help me because I wouldn't be able to go and ask somebody for help. And I don't think this is a London thing. It could be though, because I've basically only ever been down south in the UK. I've never been up north, where apparently people are nicer. But it could also just generally be a British thing, I think. But like, nobody comes to see if you're okay. Even like staff, they're like, not my business, bitch. You know, so people usually just leave you alone. Nobody's going to try and help you. So it was always down to my mum. Yeah, those are not fun. And like that's kind of that's mild as well for some of mine that are similar to the ones that were shown on TV in film club, because a lot of mine do tend to involve a lot of swearing. I'm not going to lie. A lot of swearing, sometimes other physically aggressive behaviors, whether to myself or objects. So that's what I mean by these are more acceptable representations of meltdowns. I'm not saying these are not meltdowns or like not accurate. These are absolutely accurate. And like I said, we don't see this in media already as it is. But more so I'm commenting that we still have a way to go with autistic representation on TV before we get to a point where we can show those more unacceptable meltdowns in a way that people can understand and empathize with. It's been a really long time, but I think I've seen them in other shows, but only when the autistic character is a man or a boy. Because, yeah, I think Parenthood had a few, and then also Atypical. Was that the other one? I've forgotten. I haven't watched that in so long. Anyway, back to talking about the actual show itself. She's sitting in the street crying, and somebody does come up to her and ask what's going on, Evie. And she just responds with, like, I don't know, and keeps saying, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. It might have been her mum, actually. I think one of the neighbours got her mum. And like, yeah, she's got these whining, gulping noise, like if you're trying not to cry, but it wants to like rip through your body. That's another one. I actually, towards the end of 2025, tried a different archery club for disabled folk, which led to me having a meltdown. And I ran out crying. But yeah, like the reason I did run out crying is because I literally couldn't speak anymore because my breathing was so fucked. I literally couldn't say a sentence without being one very loud, but also just not being able to breathe. I was just like gasping between like every word or few words, trying not to just completely burst into tears. So that was fun. Fuck my life. Later on in the show, after this breakdown happened, after she's been agoraphobic for a while, after we found out Noah is taking a job in Bristol, which I think is where he originally lived before coming to Manchester for uni. Like, for some reason, he used the word obligation to somebody at this Bristol lawyer job mixer thing. And she texted that to him later, the person he met there. And speaking of fucked up transport, he had so many issues getting from Bristol to Manchester to do this film night that was being put on especially for him as well. Evie chose his favourite film, The Wizard of Oz, and really went all out to decorate the garden inside the garage, whatever the fuck they use. It's definitely not a garage for a car, and costuming and stuff like that, and even a cake. So when he does turn up, he's like, oh, my phone's like died. Do you mind putting it on charge for me? And then when it does finally turn back on, there's a text message from that girl that she sees, and it talks about, oh, hope your obligation was okay or whatever. Because another thing about Noah is when he's nervous, he gets really formal. Autism. So then she gets really fixated on this word obligation, this idea that she is seen as an obligation, even though she knows and understands Noah is like that. He says things really awkwardly. But like, fair enough. Like, you can't control your feelings. I understand why that upset her, you know, but she's a talker. He is not. How often does that happen? Man, not a talker. So she did all that stuff as well for him to like give him a good send off and goodbye. And I don't really know why they did it when there was like another Friday coming up. I don't know why they couldn't have done a different film and like maybe arrange everyone come the next week when that was his actual last Friday. Yeah, either way, plot holes, it's fine. But like, she puts so much effort into understanding people she cares about, label content. Like, she literally looks up the place that Noah is going and like where he's going to be working and living, so she can talk about it and knows what he's talking about when they do talk on the phone. And he's there slash been there, blah blah blah. She knows him so well that she even knows what he smells like, to the like down to being able to name the smell. I have never been able to do that, but okay. Like, she calls it like musty like malt. And like, yeah, they kind of just both go off into these film related daydreams about what life together, romantically or not, would be like. But often, a lot of the times, it does like verge into them being together, even if it's just like jokingly. Like, one of their references was Home Alone. They were the parents of Kevin. But like, yeah, they talk about this daydream of moving to New York City. And there was one reference she made that made me laugh so much. Out, like, literally, I laughed out loud at this one. It was just so fucking funny to me. She would walk around Central Park in a turtleneck, pretending like it's not itchy. And this line always makes me laugh so much, because it is very much me, my friends, my family, everybody I know who's fucking autistic cannot stand. Like, it's either like pressure around here or like up here or like both. It varies day to day for me, but yeah, I've got a few t-shirts that really make me angry, and I'm always like yanking on my t-shirt. Stop joking me. Also, obviously, like I said, the mum is autistic as fuck. I've already mentioned that she doesn't let anyone in the fucking kitchen or using the kitchen. She's also kind of gay. I don't think this show should come back for a second season, don't get me wrong, but if it did, I hope she realised she was gay. There's a neighbour that Izzy walks dogs with. I don't know. So there's a neighbour who's around like their mum's age, and Izzy tries to hook them up basically as mates, because the mum, Suze, has just kind of made her entire life about taking care of Evie and doesn't do anything else. How does she pay her bills? Does she work? I don't remember if she works. I don't remember seeing her go to work. Yeah, so she's not very happy about that, because it's kind of the insinuation she can't make her own friends. But also, Loki, that's autistic as fuck, mate. That's autistic as fuck. Suze calls this neighbour the lady with the lovely smile. Don't tell me that's not fucking gay shit. Don't tell me she's not fucking gay. And she gets really dressed up like she's going on a date when they're going to go hang out at a pub. And she's really nervous, like more nervous than she is about dates with men, which makes me think, is she actually straight up a fucking lesbian? Because she doesn't care when she goes on dates with men. But at the end of the season, she does talk about having a crush on somebody else's dad. But also, I think a lot of it is that same old of high masking autistic women just like saying a lot of things to like sound like they're normal and like everybody else, when maybe actually they it's not. No, I have a few friends who used to pretend to have crushes on men just so people would leave them alone about like whether they're dating or not and things like that. Anyway, carrying on. Yeah, like I said, there's the kitchen rule that no one can use the kitchen for some reason. She never goes out, can't stand the food or drink on the menu at the pub. She can't decide what to have. She only drinks one type of wine, I believe, and it has to be in a certain kind of glass. I think it's the like proper glass they're supposed to be in, but like nowhere has those glasses. And she's really upset about drinking this wine in glasses she doesn't like, but also she doesn't like the wines they have. She's like, give me a really dry Chardonnay or whatever the fuck it is. And either way, it's always still too sweet or whatever. I don't know. I love a sweet, bubbly wine. My teeth don't enjoy it, however. And then yeah, when she's gone out, she has this like super crazy temperature dysregulation. Like she's really hot, she can't hear anything, doesn't get anybody's jokes. It's just like really overwhelmed and discombobulated with like the whole situation being at this pub, supposedly with a mate. So yeah, I'm just sitting there like, yeah, me. Oh, Steph, that's her name. Sorry, her name's Steph. And then she compliments Steph's smile to her. This is a homosexual. Cannot control her face at all. There's two autisms. One autism is the face does not move, does not give away shit. The other autism is face gives away every single thought you've ever had in your life. She's got that one. She also gets into how like her ex-husband was an abusive drunk. So it's like, wow, big oversharing on your first friend date with Steph, girly. She's clumsy. She also has a good room. I think this is something that is quite common with some older generations. That there is like a nice sitting room or like a nice dining room or like a nice dining set, that sort of thing. And I think sometimes that's just like, yeah, a traditional thing that's kind of passed itself down. But the calls coming from inside the house, literally, it's all just a little bit convenient for this autism, isn't it? And then, like, when she next sees Steph, she apologizes to Steph for her wobble and says it was because it was hot and loud. So, like, it's just so funny. I think I also headcanon if it is not meant to be, but I also think the sister Izzy is autistic, but in more of like a angry way. If I could merge two characters together to make me, it would probably be Izzy and Evie. I think those two characters are me. For once, it's not the love interest in the main character. It's the main character and her sister. Her face doesn't express emotion often. She's always kind of angry and what the fuck ever, leave me alone vibes. Very uninterested in other people except from like her family, and has a dog special interest. She's got a dog special interest. I know a few people with dog special interests, this or animal ones generally. She's like the super blunt one. Like her mum is embarrassed by her super bluntness a lot of the time. Yeah, it's like this whole show as well. Like I was saying initially, it's a lot to do with this feeling of isolation, feeling of lacking in community, things like that. And it's all kind of set off because Noah, like I said, is getting this job in Bristol and is having to move from Manchester to Bristol. So it's this whole like the only person who does show up for you besides your family is leaving and can't show up for you in the same way anymore, and may even just completely fall out of your life. Like you don't know. So yeah, that's a big mood of my life. In general, Evie speaks in film quotes and like accents all the time. Who does that sound like? It's not me. No. It's not me at all. But also, no, it does it back. No, it does it back. I don't know how they. This is just like a little side tangent. I don't know how they do the trivia. I would have said that Evie would make up the trivia questions, but she's also competing. So she can't be. How do they make these trivia questions? Do they just search some? I don't know. Anyway, now on to why Noah is autistic as fuck. No conversational skills outside of our main girly, doesn't know dress codes and always needs somebody else's help, i.e., Evie's help to know how he should be dressing. Also has no idea if girls like him or not. He just thinks they're being nice. Health anxiety, like I said, hypochondriac to like kind of an extreme level. He always thinks there's something wrong with him. He also has a special interest in films because otherwise, why would he have done any of this? And why would they have such deep conversations about these films and have all these silly, like daydreamy fantasy conversations about their future based off of the films they watch? He was also justifying his nervousness at the Bristol lawyer meeting thing. He said he was nervous because it was a new environment and his clothes weren't right, and Evie also wasn't there. One is an autistic thing to justify why you feel a certain way, but also his justifications were autistic as fuck. And then, like I said as well, he gets formal when he's nervous, even with Evie, and she always points it out and like kind of mimics it back. I feel like this whole time, neither of them realizes they're in love with each other, / the other one is in love with them back. Autistic as fuck. Like I said, she literally puts on his favorite film for one of like the final film nights, even though she fucking hates it. Both for like the actual film itself, but also for how the film was made, because obviously all of the issues with how Judy Garland, was that the right Judy, was treated as a child actress, being drugged to the eyeballs and then becoming addicted to drugs as an adult thanks to it. Obviously, plus loads more. There's a lot of fucked up shit about what happened to people who were like the actors in that film. But that's like the main talking point Evie has about that film is about Judy Garland's like the treatment of Judy Garland as a child actress. And yeah, like I said, she makes it really extra this time. She makes him a special cake. I didn't understand the reference. I'm not gonna lie. There were lots of references I didn't understand because whilst I am a media and like generally film buff, I'm not that kind of film buff. I feel like a lot of the films they watched were like hyper popular classics across genres. And I just don't fucking care about those films. However, get me talking about Sandra Bullock's entire filmography. And there we are. The slats. The what? The slot machines. So yeah, there were lots of references I did not understand. So I didn't get the cake reference, but she also put these giant lollies in the garden. She made huge flowers for inside the garage and a bunch of other things. And she was definitely dressed to the nines. She got them titties out as Dorothy because I think before she was Galinda in one of their like flashbacks to like their early days of the film club thing at uni. I don't believe her titties were out as much as they were as Dorothy. She invited everybody as well, like all of like their friends and Noah's roommate, who I don't know if that guy was just like a friend of Noah's or if he also went to uni with them. I don't know. Like he's just another strange dude. And yeah, there was like a whole massive devastation of Noah being late to the final film club because he was traveling back from Bristol and he put it off a little bit, but he thought it was going to be fine. But then all the trains were fucked up. Always happens to me too, babe. Always happens to me too, babe. So yeah, we all feel that in it. And it was Dorothy and the Tin Man. That's what they were both dressed up as. And he literally travelled majority of the way, or like at least a good chunk towards the end, as the Tin Man. Because he is dedicated to film club. A little bit more on our Suze. She doesn't really talk about what's going on with her. If my mother ever watches this video, It you, bitch. It you. Uh, neither do either of her daughters really talk about anything that's going on with them unless kind of being forced to. I can tell it can't be kept secret or hidden anymore or kept in. She only seems to talk to Evie's boyfriend, Josh. He's definitely got some really weird, inappropriate relationships that he's created with Evie's mum and Evie's sister. But her sister, like, they both remain suspicious enough to catch him out on his bullshit later on. But like, he's kind of half moved in to the house without ever actually having that conversation with Evie, let alone actually even asking the woman who owns the house. Suze, you gotta let this fucking happen. I don't think so. And yeah, he also gets a lot out of Izzy emotionally. Like, she doesn't really share her feelings and stuff except with him. But he also is kind of known as like the Suze. I don't know. I can't remember what they specifically called it, but he has this weird thing where he understands Suze a little bit too well. So he finds this note Noah left for Evie that he then fucking stole and hid. And Suze accidentally wore his coat when she was drunk one evening and finds it in the pocket when she gets back from a night out with Steph. And then misplaces it because she was so fucked up drunk and she was busy getting snacks. Anyway, Izzy challenges him more throughout the whole course of the show, like why he's buying furniture for himself for their house. Does Evie know about this? Blah, blah, blah. But then also, Suze catches him out on like a lot of lies. She goes to his house for a party that he invited them to. Apparently he didn't mean it, even though he was really upset that no one could go. But like, his family live in a massive house, hire like waiting and catering staff for these parties, and then like verbally abuse them and treat them like absolute shit. But also hasn't even told his family about Evie at all, and he's been dating her for like 8 months. So Suze finds all this out and doesn't know whether to tell Evie or not. I would have fucking told her right away. I would have told her right away. I'd have been like, get over here. I've got news. Have I got news for you? And also, like, Noah has this really great, I guess, metaphor, maybe analogy about this kind of exhaustion that builds up to the breakdown. It's Noah's spoon before school story. You feel this sense of exhaustion that you can't pick up your spoon to eat your cereal before school. There's no grip, you can't grasp. So like, Evie really uses this as like a metaphor to explain to him what it felt like leading up to her breakdown and what she still kind of feels like every day, but how film club helps her not feel that way. Having like something fun to enjoy and to think about and to focus on and put her time and energy into. Evie says it's her life and she can't hold on to anything, but it's better in here. It's better in this, generally at home anyway, but also like specifically in the film club, like basically clubhouse, right? In here, she's protected and nothing in the world that's scary can get her. She tries to trick her brain by just going to do something, hoping that like before her brain realizes she's doing anything. So like with her agoraphobia mainly. And I was like, yeah, I try to do that. I try to ADHD yeet myself and like hope I don't realize before I'm like at the place I need to be. But it catches up to her and she can't pick up the spoon. There's no bones, legs don't work. She can't do it. And like, yeah, so they go to the end of her front garden and yeah, like she says, like, I have no bones in my legs. I can't go anywhere. And he's like, are you sure? And then he just like takes off all of his clothes because to be fair, like he makes some good points because she's talking about how everyone's looking at her. And he's like, no one's looking at you. Trust me. Like, no one cares. Like, I love you, but nobody cares. And I say this to a lot of people as well who have anxiety about being perceived. I'm like, don't worry, like people don't care. And if they do care, you really probably don't care about them caring about you. Because they're like, they probably suck. So what does it matter? What does it matter if they even care? What does it matter if they are talking about you? You don't know them. It doesn't matter. You won't see them again. It's like he strips off all of his clothes, except his underwear, just in the street, and he starts dancing and shouting and singing. And this manages to convince her to get on the back of his bicycle. And that's the first time she's left the house in 6 months. And like, this is where a lot of things have changed, both separately and between the two of them. He obviously needs to leave, but he feels like he needs to leave before anything actually changes. Evie feels like she won't be able to get better if he doesn't go, but also he's so avoidant to talking about it, which is really frustrating. I feel you, girl. I feel you. And it's like, why should we talk about this? You don't want this, he says, and cry. Like, it makes me cry. The way he's like, you don't want this. Like, he is not lovable, valuable, worthy. It's very sad. He clearly has really low self-esteem. And I also noticed at this point as well that they always sit in their little two-person love seat for all of the film nights, except from like the university one. He had a girlfriend in that period, but they always sit in their little love seat together. Symbolism, the love seat. I just like that little detail. So yeah, he leaves and she tries to ring him to get him to come back and to finish the conversation, but like he doesn't pick up. So she then cries and has another meltdown. She has on some really loud music. She's hugging herself and rocking side to side. This is where she does kind of lash out a little bit verbally to her mum, very mildly though, but she does lash out a little bit when her mum tries to come and help her. She's like, stop smothering me. And then her mum lashes out back, grow up. Everybody is correct and wrong at the same time. Like, everybody has points, but also everybody kind of sucks in how they're executing their points, which is very human and it is very relatable. Big. I don't know if my mum would reflect on this show and go, oh, this is like us. I do though. Hi mum, if you're here. You're probably not. I hope not. I hope you don't watch these videos. It's us. But this is why I love this show as well. And also, I think there was another quote I saw from Aimee Lou Wood about this show also being a tribute to single mums as well, because that's like a really big factor in this, is that it is just Sue's like trying her best. She's trying. And yeah, you see Evie sort of like wringing her hands as well, which is very me coded too. I definitely do that a lot. I've noticed that because I think as well with someone who has been forced to like mask so much for so long, a lot of stimming behaviors look really quote unquote normal. They look like things everybody does because those are acceptable actions. I feel like it's the same with my ADHD fidgeting as well. A lot of the ways I would fidget were things that were kind of more socially acceptable to avoid getting in trouble, to avoid being noticed by other people. So a lot of my fidgeting was hidden, and same with a lot of my stimming was hidden or like internal. Now I'm 31 years old and can't shut the fuck up. Really annoying vocal stems. Huh. But also some really strange physical ones, especially yeah, when the energy hits. Anyway, just getting distracted by myself. I told you this show is about me. This show is about me. Yeah, so like again, another very realistic autistic adult moment that just hit me so much right in my gut, in my feels, my soul. And then yeah, after that she proceeds to isolate herself. Also, super me coded. Yeah. So she's isolating herself. She has spent the last week in the garage. Is she going piss, girl? Either way, she's basically slept in the garage with the lights on or like a film going, and she's not been answering the door or speaking to anybody. But I think her mum has still been like delivering her food, drinks, cups of tea, bless her. And that is also super relatable for my experience with my mum. Like, rather than resolving the argument or like the thing that happened between the two of you, the mum is kind of just straight back to typical mother caring role. And while sometimes that's nice because it's kind of like, don't worry about it, it is what it is, you know, life is lifing, we're doing our best, we understand each other, whatever. Sometimes it needs a conversation. I mean, obviously, as well, in this particular moment, Evie is not able to have the conversation yet. She's still processing all of this change, these changes of dynamics, the very real isolation happening. And like, Suze and Izzy get her out of the garage by throwing their own film night, which is very sweet of them. This is before he leaves. So they do invite Steph, the neighbor, and they do also invite Noah. And they're throwing mainly like a girly night, but also it's specifically bridesmaid themed, which is funny because, oh yeah, also more reasons why Noah is autistic and why also Suze, the mum, is autistic as fuck. They can't get on the same page at all. They're both quite opposite kinds of autistic and both really struggle to connect in a way that the other person can connect. And Suze calls him the unknowable prince, which I just think is not only the most fucking iconic nickname for somebody, even though it's meant derogatively. It is the most iconic name to be given, but it is so funny and so like actually autistic coded, actually hilarious. It's so good. So yeah, he finds out and she's very judgmental anyway as well. She doesn't think he wants to come watch Bridesmaids. And then he quotes the whole section in Bridesmaids where, is it Kristen Wiig or Kirsten Wiig? I can't remember. But Wiig, her character, is drunk on the plane.
And I feel
I'm ready to party with the best of them. Like that. I don't know it word for word, but I recognized it and I was like, because there were very few, like I said, there were very few moments that I understood and recognized. So it was nice to feel a bit more actually, oh yeah, I know that one. They have film night in the nice room, the good room, the Lord's room they talk about later on, because for some reason it's full of like Jesus paraphernalia, even though they don't go to church or like talk about God or anything. They're like not particularly religious, but like why is there a little Jesus statue? No idea. But yes, they have a great time. Everyone's really drunk. This is also where they start the game of like, what's under the rug? Which sounds like repulsively sexual. I loved it. I was like, yeah, this is amazing. What's under the rug? Oh, your boyfriend Josh didn't tell his family about you, Evie. And it's like, oh, wow. She eventually bins the boyfriend, obviously. There's a moment in the kitchen where Evie and Steph, I don't know what they're doing there. Refilling their drinks, maybe? I don't know. But like, Steph says something about also having a big old breakdown, big mood. So who knows? Maybe Steph's also fucking autistic. She used to probably be a spy for MI6. I don't know. She can't tell us what her job is, so I'm just assuming she's a spy. This is also such a good moment. I love this moment. So like Steph says something really deep, and Evie doesn't know how to respond. So she quotes Bridesmaids to Steph in the kitchen, because Steph says that, yeah, she opens up about how she kind of lost her mind as well at 30 and changed her whole life. So yeah, Evie then she says the quote and then she's like, sorry, it's what I do when I can't. She doesn't finish her sentence because Steph just kind of butts in and says, yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that. Don't worry about it. And she's meant it in like a nice way, I feel like. I don't feel like she meant it in like a, yeah, I noticed. I noticed you do that, you fucking weirdo. Fucking rude bitch. You know, it was more like a, I noticed you do that. It's a bit strange, but like, in it. Yeah, I feel like Steph clocked this autistic household from a fucking mile away. And like, that's the end of my notes. And that is not the end of the show. There's like the whole last episode I didn't even really write about. But that last episode obviously is wrapping up a lot of things. But generally, I think all of the characters are starting to accept Evie for who she is more, as well as each other. Like something about this whole journey, the process, has led them all to kind of go like, oh, we weren't helping Evie with how we were handling things or how we modeled how to handle things, and what was expected of her in life. And it's also the same for me. There were lots of things that these characters realized were not working for themselves and they needed to change to be happier, to feel more relaxed, to feel more actually like close to the other people in their lives. Because, like I said near the start, the only person who shows up for you besides your family is leaving. And it's like, you know, yeah, that like her family has shown up for her, but did she ever really feel able to talk about it? No, because that's kind of what the topic is a lot of the time between Suze and Izzy, is how they don't know what's happened or what was happening or what is happening with Evie. And then we just proceed to see both of them also not talking to each other about their own issues and instead talking to Steph, the neighbor, Josh, Evie's boyfriend, and just pretending. But yeah, they've all realized that the pretending that they were doing wasn't working for them. Like Evie's film club pretending wasn't working for her. Or it was, but like in a way that was kind of stunting her growth. Suze's avoidance of talking about anything bad wasn't helping her, wasn't helping her family. And same for Izzy, talking about anything she cares about, I feel like, because she didn't want to talk to anybody about wanting to start her like dog walking business. And because she's more like an outwardly angry person, anything that's important to her or makes her feel vulnerable just makes her angrier. She gets quite angry and defensive about things. That's why relatable as fuck. So yeah, like all of these characters, again, something that I was talking about in a different video. What the fuck was it called? The Happiest Season, where I feel like there just wasn't any growth happening in the characters. It just suddenly was like, oh, I'm gay now, and everyone stopped being terrible. Whereas this was like a slow progression of, oh, we're realizing the way that we're behaving is getting in the way of us actually sorting anything out. And other characters were pointing out these things, and sometimes it had to come up multiple times. Like it had to be talked about several times with Noah from Evie's point of view of like, look, you don't want to talk about anything serious. We need to talk about these things, otherwise it's just going to continue hanging over our heads forever until one of us dies. I feel, you know, they're like, yeah, they're all kind of aggravating in their own way, which is magnificent. I love when a show can, or like any kind of media, can create a cast of characters that are real, even though they're a little bit campy and a little bit like high energy. I don't know how to explain that, but you know, very sitcom-esque, very comedy-esque characterization. They still feel like real people and real responses, and so many layered and complicated things have made these people, and it hasn't been a smooth or instant change in any of them to understanding each other and themselves better and what they actually need from life. So yeah, I love it when, even when characters piss you off and you find them annoying, that you still like the character at the end. You still like those characters. The only character I didn't like at the end, like hardcore, was Josh. Fuck Josh. I don't give a fuck about your family trauma. You're a fucking arsehole. It's funny though that that guy is actually Aimee Lou Wood's real boyfriend. Noah was annoying. Suze was annoying. Steph was annoying. Evie's friends were annoying. Evie was annoying at times. Izzy was annoying. Everybody was annoying at some point or another, or was just like kind of not nice in like a way that is quite upsetting. But that was just one aspect of them. There was so much more to those characters than just the annoying person, the antagonist, the asshole, you know. They were more than just some kind of character archetype. And I love when media can give real characters like that to us, who are complicated, who are messy, but not like just fucking bigots and assholes that are redeemed when they don't deserve it. Unfortunately, this was not about me because I still have not found love. I'm still single. 2026, will that be the year for me? I don't know. I loved the show. You can, in the UK, you can watch it on BBC iPlayer for free. I do recommend it. It's, yeah, like, I think it's like 6 episodes. It's not very long. And I feel like they pack a lot into those 6 episodes. Very good pace. It doesn't feel like anything is missing, like I felt with Alice in Borderland needed longer for the kind of things they were trying to achieve. Whereas I feel like Aimee Lou wrote this really well. That it was quite clear when time had passed, it was clear when it was a flashback, but it kept the pace up and slowed down when it needed to slow down for these really lovely moments, mainly between her and Noah, but also sometimes between other characters or her and Suze and Izzy and things like that. And I don't think it had a very big budget. Like, it was a small cast. It was mostly in a fucking house. It was in one house for the most part. But yeah, done really well. I wish there was more stuff like this out there a bit more often, you know? Felt very seen. Really enjoyed that. And yeah, I'll be thinking about this show for a long time. And actually, it's kind of like comforting because it's like a short but like kind of hopeful, miserable show. And kind of like light and funny. It might become my new comfort watch when I get sad because I did watch it. What is on my nose? Ugh. I did watch it when after my meltdown at that archery place. So yeah, highly recommend. Let me know what you thought of this show if you've seen it. Don't forget to like the video. Go watch another video of mine. I do regular little kind of reviews of shows and films and other media that I have consumed in this sort of format, but I also do deeper dives into things like tropes. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this or more videos that are a bit more deeper the dive. I've been here for so long and my back hurts, so I will see you next week. Bye.